Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our new normal class. I'm Lovely Gregorio Tandoy, and I will be your English teacher for this school year. So, without further ado, let me show you our objectives for today's lesson. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to A. Discover literature as a means of understanding the human being and the force he has to contend with. B. Enumerate the characters of the story. And C. Determine the character's answer to the question of the author or narrator. The title of the selection that we are going to discuss today is The Hands of the Blacks. It is an excerpt from We Killed Mangy Dog, which is written by Luis Bernardo Junwana. So before we are going to proceed with our discussion, let us first do our unlocking of difficulties. So these are the words that we need to define. We have century, catechism, baloney, kills, callous, clutching, and unbearable. So century. It is a period of 100 years. Catechism. It is a collection of questions and answers that are used to teach people about the Christian religion. Baloney. These are foolish words or ideas. Kills. It is an oven or furnace used for hardening, burning, or drying something such as pottery. Callus. It is a hard and thickened area on the skin, and especially in the hands or feet. Clutching. It means to hold onto someone or something by reaching with your hand. Unbearable. It means too bad, harsh, or extreme to be accepted or endured, meaning it is not bearable. The Hands of the Blacks by Luis Bernardo Junwana. I can't remember now how we got into the subject, but one day teacher said that the palms of the blacks' hands were much lighter than the rest of their bodies, because only a few centuries ago they walked around on all fours like wild animals. So their palms weren't exposed to the sun, which made the rest of their bodies darker and darker. I thought of this when Father Cristiano told us after catechism that we were absolutely hopeless, and that even the blacks were better than us. And he went back to these things about their hands being lighter, and said it was like that because they always went about their hands folded together, praying in secret. I thought this was so funny, this thing of the black hands being so lighter, that you should see me now. I don't let go of anyone, whoever they are, until they tell me why they think that the palms of the black's hands are lighter. Doña Doris, for instance, told me that God made their hands lighter like that so they wouldn't dirty the food that they made for their masters or anything else that they were ordered to do that had to be kept quite clean. Senor Antones, the Coca-Cola man, who only comes after to the village now and again, when all the cokes in the cantina have been sold, said to me that everything I had been told was a lot of baloney. Of course I don't know if it was really, but he assured me it was. After I said yes, all right, it was baloney, then he told me what he knew about these things of the black's hands. It was like this. Long ago, many years ago, God, our Lord Jesus Christ, the Virgin Mary, Saint Peter, many other saints, all the angels were in heaven then. And some of the people who had died and gone to heaven, they all had a meeting and decided to make blacks. Do you know how? They got hold of some clay and pressed it into some second-hand molds, and to bake them of the creatures, they took them to heavenly kings, because they were in a hurry, and there was no room next to the fire. They hung them in the chimneys. Smoke, smoke, smoke. And there you have them, black as coals. And now, do you want to know why their hands stayed white? Because their hands are tied. When he had told me this, Signor Antones and the other men who were around us were very pleased, and then all burst out laughing. That very same day, Signor Frias called me after Signor Antones had gone away, and told me everything I heard from them there had been just pack of lies. Really and truly, what he knew about the black's hands was right, that God finished making men and told them to bathe in a lake in heaven. After bathing, the people were nice and white. The blacks, well, they were made very early in the morning, and at this hour the water in the lake was very cold. So they only wet the palms of their hands and the soles of their feet before dressing and coming into the world. But I read in a book that happened to mention it that the black hands are lighter like this because they spent their lives bent over, gathering the white cottons of Virginia, and I don't know where else. Of course, Doña Estefania didn't agree when I told her this. According to her, it is only because their hands became bleached with all that washing. Well, I don't know what to think about all these. But the truth is that no matter how callous and cracked they may be, a black's hand are always lighter than the rest of him. And that's that. My mother is the only one who must be right about this question of black's hands being lighter than the rest of his body. On the day that we were talking about it, I was telling her what I know about the question, and she just couldn't stop laughing. What I thought was strange was that she didn't tell me at once what she thought about all this. And she only answered me when she was sure that I wouldn't get tired of bothering her about it. And even then she was crying and clutching herself around the stomach, who had laughed so much that it was quite unbearable. What she said was more or less this: God made blacks because they had to be. They had to be, my son. He thought they really had to be. Afterwards, he regretted having made of them because other men laughed at them and took them off to their homes and put them to serve as slaves or not much better. But because he couldn't make them all be white, for those who were used to seeing blacks would complain, he made it so that the palms would exactly like the palms of other men. And do you know why that was? Of course you don't know. And it's not surprising, because many, many people don't know. Well, listen. It was to show that what men do is only the work of men. That what men do is done by hands that are the same. Hands of people who, if they had any sense, would know that before anything else, they are men. He must be thinking of this when he made the hands of the blacks be the same as the hands of those men who thank God they are not black. After telling me all this, my mother kissed my hands as I ran off into the yard to play ball. I thought that I had never seen a person cry so much when nobody had hit them. Since the previous slide is the end of the selection, let us now enumerate the characters and determine their answers to the question, why the hands of the blacks are lighter than the rest of their bodies. So the characters are Father Cristiano, Doña Dores, Señor Antones, the book author, Señor Frias, Doña Estefania, and the narrator's mother. So the answer of Father Cristiano to the question why the hands of the black are lighter than the rest of their bodies, he said that it was black because they were always praying. And for Doña Dores, she said that the black's hands are lighter so that they wouldn't dirty the food and anything else that had to be kept clean. According to Senor Antones, the black hands were like that because their hands are tied when they are hung in the chimneys. And the book author read in a book that it was lighter because they spent their lives bent over gathering cottons. For Senor Frias, he said that they were made early in the morning and that the water's cold that time, so they only wet the palms of their hands and soles of their feet. For Doña Estefania, she said that it was bleach with all the washing. And for the narrator's mother, she said that God made it so that the palms would be exactly like the palms of other men. So, this is where our discussion ends. So, thank you for listening. And if you have further questions about our discussion today, please feel free to contact me at the numbers that we have gave you previously. And you can also visit the e-learning site of GAETF. Thank you and God bless.